Taiwanese actress Xu Shi-yuan, Big S, 48, passed away on February 2 from pneumonia, a complication of influenza, while traveling in Japan. Her death, following a flu outbreak affecting both Japan and Taiwan, has shocked the entertainment industry and the public on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. While influenza-related deaths among adults aged 18 to 49 in Hong Kong remain low, approximately 4.1% of all flu-related deaths this season as of January 29, doctors emphasize that those with underlying health conditions, such as Xu, are at higher risk of severe complications. They advise seeking immediate medical attention if experiencing persistent fever, chest pain, or thick mucus, indicative of pneumonia. Taiwanese actress Barbie Hsu passed away in Japan from pneumonia, a complication of influenza. Japan is experiencing a surge in H1N1 influenza, with over 9.5 million cases reported since September according to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. While the H1N1 outbreak is subsiding, experts warn that influenza B may cause another peak. A Hong Kong respiratory specialist advises travelers to assess their health before trips, understand local medical systems to avoid delays in seeking treatment, and get vaccinated. Taiwanese actress Barbie Hsu's death from pneumonia, a complication of influenza, during her recent New Year's trip to Japan, highlights the severity of the flu outbreak there. A Hong Kong resident working in Tokyo reports that 20 employees, nearly 30%, at their retail chain have taken sick leave due to influenza in the past 2 months, each requiring a week off. With no sick leave available, employees are using their vacation time. Despite this, a travel agency reports that none of the approximately 70 tour groups currently in Japan have required medical attention for influenza. Hong Kong's economy saw a modest acceleration in growth last quarter, with the government's Census and Statistics Department reporting a 2.4% year-on-year real GDP increase in Q4 2023, slightly exceeding market expectations of 2.3% and surpassing the 1.9% growth in Q3. Seasonally adjusted quarter-on-quarter growth reached 0.8%, reversing the 0.1% decline in Q3. Overall, Hong Kong's GDP grew by 2.5% in 2023, meeting the government's revised forecast, while private consumption fell by 0.6% for the year. Growth was primarily driven by net exports, although newly imposed U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods pose a risk. Economists anticipate that increased mainland tourist arrivals, a rebound in stock market activity boosting service exports, and a recovery in local retail sales will lead to more balanced economic growth this year, potentially maintaining last year's pace. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority, HKMA, Deputy Chief Executive, Lee Tat Kai, announced yesterday that the non-performing loan, NPL, rate for the 100% guaranteed concessional loan scheme under the latest SME financing guarantee scheme has risen to 13.5%. He stated that the HKMA will pursue aggressive debt recovery for cases of willful default, aiming to curb the rising NPL rate, while some cases resulted in bankruptcy proceedings and residual losses. The HKMA aims to send a clear message that defaulting on government-backed loans will not be tolerated. Hong Kong's persistent fiscal deficit reached 70.5 billion Hong Kong dollars in the first 3 quarters of this fiscal year. Professor Lau Bing Liang, a public administration consultant at the Education University of Hong Kong, advocates for a measured approach to fiscal consolidation, warning that hasty cuts, such as public sector pay reductions, could harm economic recovery by dampening consumer spending. He suggests a salary freeze as a more prudent initial step and urges high-ranking officials and legislators to lead by example and share the burden of fiscal responsibility. The government is reviewing the $2 elderly fare concession, with Financial Secretary Paul Chan stating that the current scheme is financially unsustainable in the long term and exploring alternative solutions. Discussions with lawmakers, including support for maintaining the $2 fare for the current beneficiaries, are underway. Former Legislative Council member and then major shareholder of Asia Resource Holdings Limited, James Tien Pei Chung, and his son, James Tien Kim Loon, were convicted of conspiracy to defraud the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong, the Asia Resource Board, and shareholders. Their scheme, involving a mainland Chinese businessman, concealed a secret 200 million Hong Kong dollars shell sale agreement during a 2013 fundraising. The district court sentenced Tien Pei Chung to 34 months imprisonment and his son to 37 months, both with a 3-year disqualification from being a director. A co-defendant, Wang Bei Li, received a 24-month sentence. The judge cited the complexity of the fraud and the defendant's prior achievements and contributions as mitigating factors. The 126th day of the trial against Jimmy Lai and Apple Daily for conspiring with foreign forces saw the prosecution present evidence of Lai's communications with his aide, Mark Simon. In 2020, these communications revealed that U.S. political figures expressed a desire for Lai to visit the U.S. In February 2020, approximately 3 months later, Lai and Simon discussed a visit, with Lai indicating his wish to meet with top officials. In court, Lai confirmed his intention to visit the U.S. again to meet with then Vice President Pence and others. The prosecution questioned whether Lai's application to amend his bail conditions to leave Hong Kong was a pretext, masking his true intention, while Lai maintained he had legitimate reasons for the trip. The prosecution questioned Jimmy Lai yesterday regarding a crowdfunding scheme for newspaper advertisements. Lai admitted borrowing money from a pro-freedom group for the advertisements, but claimed ignorance of their content beyond knowing it related to the anti-extradition law movement and freedom advocacy. The prosecution pressed Lai, who has publicly opposed Hong Kong independence, on how he knew the advertisement plan did not involve advocating for independence. Lai stated that his assistant, Mark Simon, would have informed him if it did, emphasizing that Simon knows I oppose independence. The prosecution further questioned whether Simon acted as an intermediary between Lai and the pro-freedom group, to which Lai reiterated that Simon is his assistant and acts on his behalf. A city bus A29 traveling from Sung Kwan O to the airport had a minor accident yesterday morning, near Wong Tai Sin Center on Lung Chung Road. While stopping at a bus stop, the bus veered onto the sidewalk, with its front wheels briefly leaving the ground. No injuries were reported. Passengers transferred to another bus. and the driver cooperated with police. Betty, 40, a strong and resilient woman, wore her mother's cherished navy blue floral dress during the interview. 2 years ago, following the loss of a beloved family member, she bravely faced her grief, eventually finding solace and strength. Remembering her mother's unwavering spirit, a lesson learned during her father's passing. When her mother declared, "Even when food tastes bad, I still eat," Betty channeled that same determination. With the support of social workers, she transformed her mother's pillowcases into comfortable sofa cushions, a testament to her ability to find beauty and peace amidst sorrow. These cushions now serve as a comforting reminder of her mother's legacy, symbolizing Betty's unwavering commitment to life and perseverance. The Church of England Holy Trinity Church's Guardian Angel Bereavement Support Service estimates that approximately 15% of bereaved individuals in Hong Kong require further intervention and emotional support. The Hong Kong Sheng Kung Wei Welfare Council offers services such as artifact transformation, legacy planning through games, and comfort boxes to help those grieving. As the Director of Hospice Services, Ms. Chan Mu Ning, states, "Grief and remembrance are lifelong journeys. We aim to support bereaved individuals in navigating this process." The Kai Tak Sports Park is undergoing final testing, including a month-long trial run of its food and beverage outlets, in preparation for its grand opening next month. While environmental groups have raised concerns about potential waste from events, the park is committed to ensuring a smooth and successful launch, providing a world-class sporting and entertainment venue for Hong Kong. Hong Kong's first taxi-hailing app, HK Taxi, acquired by Uber in 2021, ceased operations on April 1, directing users to the Uber app. This impacts over 80% of Hong Kong taxi drivers who relied on HK Taxi's transparent fare system and driver-selected orders. Unlike Uber's opaque blind box system, the cessation is expected to affect both passengers and drivers, with uncertainty over how many drivers will switch to the Uber platform. Hong Kong's team achieved remarkable success at the International Olympiad in Informatics (IOI), held in Egypt last September, winning 1 gold medal. This underscores the potential of Hong Kong's youth in the field of computer science. The Urban Renewal Authority, URA, has offered to purchase the government employee cooperative housing project at Kai Bek Lung Road, Chekiang Street in Kowloon City, offering eligible owner-occupiers 15,385 Hong Kong dollars per square foot of saleable area. The URA states that most owner-occupiers who haven't yet paid land premiums will need to pay a flat rate of 1,177 Hong Kong dollars per square foot, resulting in a compensation of 14,208 Hong Kong dollars per square foot for them. A small number of owner-occupiers who have already paid land premiums are excluded from this land premium payment. Legislative Council documents reveal a significant increase in private buildings aged 50 or more, from 4,500 to 9,600 over the past decade, projected to reach 22,900 by 2042. Recognizing the severity of this aging infrastructure, the newly appointed president of the Hong Kong Institute of Surveyors, Mr. Leung Kai-Tim, with extensive experience at the Buildings Department, recommends government-backed initiatives, such as debt issuance and a securitized fund, to bolster private building maintenance, repair, and renovation, thereby enhancing public safety. The Housing Authority proposes making serious public housing abuse a criminal offense. Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho emphasized in the Legislative Council's Housing Panel meeting that the amendment targets tenants who misuse public housing for profit and don't reside in the units. She urged children who haven't told their parents about their property purchases, leading to the repossession of their parents' units, to behave. She also revealed that 21 tenants were found to own mainland China properties. Their mainland assets will be included in asset assessments to determine if they exceed limits. Social welfare spending surged approximately 30% over the past 5 fiscal years, with spending on the Old Age Living Allowance, OALA, increasing by over 50%, exceeding the overall rise. This escalating cost, driven by an aging population, strains government finances and highlights structural issues within Hong Kong's retirement protection system. Continued growth necessitates tax increases unless the system is reformed, potentially through the establishment of a universal pension scheme to ensure more comprehensive elderly care. The government's $2 public transport fare concession scheme, costing $6 billion in 2024-25, a 50% increase from $4 billion the previous year, is unsustainable in the long term, according to Financial Secretary Paul Chan. Given the current economic downturn and fiscal deficit, even though the scheme isn't the primary cause of the deficit, experts suggest it should be subject to cost-saving measures, advocating for a capped subsidy as a moderate adjustment to minimize impact on beneficiaries. In an interview, former full-time advisor to the chief executive's office, Wang Zhouqi, advocated for a review of government spending, particularly in healthcare and social welfare. He noted the significant increase in healthcare expenditure as a percentage of GDP, from 2.3% in 2011-12 to 4.0% in 2023-24, and suggested that the government shouldn't solely bear the burden, proposing a tiered charging system for public hospitals.